the Galactic Republic. For an astounding 25,000 years, this vast democratic union governed a diverse galaxy. Centered on Coruscant, its Galactic Senate, with thousands of representatives, aimed to uphold liberty, justice, and peace, electing a Supreme Chancellor as its head of state. For millennia, the Jedi Order served as its guardians, resolving disputes and defending its ideals, as the Republic maintained no large standing army until its final, desperate years. But this ancient democracy was not immune to decay. Over centuries, bureaucracy swelled, corruption took root, and the Senate became paralyzed by infighting and corporate greed. These vulnerabilities were ruthlessly exploited by Sheev Palpatine, who, as Chancellor, manipulated the Clone Wars to dismantle the Republic from within, transforming it into the first Galactic Empire, a tragic end to millennia of democratic rule. The Galactic Empire, rising from the ashes of the Republic in 19 BBY, this authoritarian regime was ruled with absolute power by Emperor Sheev Palpatine, secretly the Sith Lord Darth Sidious. The Empire's official ideology, the New Order, promised peace and stability, but delivered oppression, justified by doctrines like human supremacy and Grand Moff Tarkin's infamous rule through fear, epitomized by the planet-destroying Death Star. All authority flowed from the Emperor, enforced by a vast military, regional Moffs wielding immense power, and internal security forces like the ISB. The Imperial Senate, a hollow relic, was eventually dissolved entirely. For 2 decades, the Empire's iron grip held the galaxy until its defeat in the Galactic Civil War at the Battle of Endor in 4 ABY, though its remnants would later fester into the First Order, the Confederacy of Independent Systems. More commonly known as the Separatists, this government fractured the galaxy from 24 to 19 BBY. Led by the charismatic former Jedi Count Dooku, the CIS attracted thousands of star systems promising relief from Republic corruption and greater planetary autonomy. Their public ideology championed freedom and self-determination. However, beneath this veneer, the Separatist alliance was a complex machine secretly engineered by Dooku's Sith master, Darth Sidious. Its immense military power, vast droid armies, came primarily from mega-corporations like the Trade Federation, Techno-Union, and the Banking Clan, whose leaders formed the true Separatist Council, driven by profit and deregulation. While a Separatist parliament offered a semblance of democracy, the CIS was ultimately a Sith tool, designed to provoke the Clone Wars, weaken the Republic, and pave the way for the Empire. Its existence ended abruptly in 19 BBY with the slaughter of its council by Darth Vader. The New Republic. Forged from the Rebel Alliance's triumph at Endor in 4 ABY, this government sought to restore the democratic ideals of the Old Republic. Led initially by Chancellor Mon Mothma, it championed liberty, demilitarization through the controversial Military Disarmament Act, and decentralized power, even rotating its capital world, eventually settling on Hosnian Prime. However, this era of hope was plagued by internal political strife between populist factions advocating for autonomy and centrists yearning for stronger central rule, many of whom harbored imperial sympathies. This division, coupled with a dangerous complacency and refusal to heed warnings about the burgeoning First Order, left the New Republic fatally vulnerable. In 34 ABY, its leadership and much of its fleet were annihilated when Starkiller Base obliterated the Hosnian system, effectively ending its 3-decade reign. The First Order, emerging from imperial remnants that fled to the unknown regions after the Battle of Jakku, this neo-imperial regime became a terrifying new galactic threat, under the mysterious Supreme Leader Snoke, later revealed as a puppet of the resurrected Emperor Palpatine. The First Order embraced a fanatical ideology of strength, order, and imperial restoration. It was a military junta, fielding advanced resurgent-class star destroyers, brutally indoctrinated stormtroopers, often stolen as children, and the planet-annihilating Starkiller Base. Their goal was the complete destruction of the weak New Republic and the imposition of absolute control. After decapitating the New Republic with Starkiller's attack on Hosnian Prime, the First Order waged a swift, brutal war against the Resistance, its ambitions culminating in a merger with Palpatine's Sith Eternal Forces before their ultimate defeat at the Battle of Exegol. The Chiss Ascendancy, an ancient, aristocratic oligarchy of the blue-skinned, red-eyed Chiss, hidden deep within the unknown regions. For millennia, the Ascendancy maintained its isolation, governed by 9 ruling families and their representatives in the Syndicate. Their core philosophy was defensive and conservative, with a strict military doctrine forbidding preemptive strikes. Their formidable expansionary defense fleet was solely for protecting Chiss space. Valuing order, discipline, and Chiss cultural integrity above all, they remained largely a legend to the wider galaxy until figures like Grand Admiral Thrawn emerged, bringing their unique blend of tactical genius and rigid societal structure into the galactic spotlight. The Ascendancy stands as a major regional power operating under principles vastly different from the republics or empires of known space. Corporate Sector Authority, or CSA. This vast outer rim territory wasn't a traditional government, but a corporatocracy, a region where mega-corporations were the state. Established to allow commerce with minimal oversight, the CSA was ruled by a direct board of corporate CEOs. Their ideology was pure laissez-faire capitalism. Profit was paramount, and laws were effectively company policies. The CSA maintained its own security police, the S-Boss, and a picket fleet, primarily to protect corporate assets and quell labor unrest. Operating with considerable autonomy from both the Empire and later the New Republic, the corporate sector was a freewheeling, often ruthless, economic powerhouse where credits, not political ideals, dictated policy. The Hutt Cartel. For millennia, these slug-like crime lords dominated Hutt space and vast swathes of the outer rim underworld. Less a formal government and more a powerful coalition of rival Hutt clans, or Khajidiks. Their rule was an oligarchy dictated by the Grand Hutt Council on Nal Hutta. Their ideology was simple: profit and power. Smuggling, slavery, gambling, extortion, all were tools in their amoral pursuit of wealth. While individual Hutts like Jabba Desiligis Tiure ruled their territories as personal fiefdoms, the cartel collectively wielded immense influence, often playing larger galactic powers against each other. They maintained their grip through hired bounty hunters and mercenary armies, a shadow government thriving alongside republics and empires until Jabba's death significantly weakened their centralized power. Mandalorian Clans. Less a formal government, more a fierce warrior culture organized into powerful, often rival clans. Historically, in times of great need or ambition, these clans unite under a single leader, the Mandalore, whose authority is often validated by combat prowess and symbolic artifacts like the Darksaber. Their society is guided by the Rezul Nar, 6 core tenets emphasizing armor, language, self-defense, family, clan welfare, and loyalty to the Mandalore. While their warrior ethos often led to conquest, as seen in the ancient Mandalorian Wars, they also experienced periods of internal strife, such as the civil war between Duchess Satine Kryze's pacifist New Mandalorians and traditionalist groups like Death Watch during the Clone Wars. Ultimately, Mandalorian governance is a dynamic cycle of clan autonomy and unification under a strong leader, always defined by their martial honor and fierce independence. The Galactic Federation of Free Alliances, or GFFA. In Legends, this government succeeded the New Republic around 28 ABY, forged in the devastating crucible of the Yuuzhan Vong War. Recognizing the New Republic's weaknesses, leaders like Chief of State Cal Omas restructured it into a stronger federal alliance, crucially incorporating former adversaries like the Imperial Remnant and the Hapes Consortium for Mutual Defense. The GFFA retained a Senate and an elected Chief of State, but operated under a new constitution designed for greater unity and decisive action in crises. This reformed government led the galaxy through the Dark Nest Crisis and the tumultuous Second Galactic Civil War, enduring for over a century into the Legacy era, representing a more pragmatic and inclusive evolution of Republican ideals in a war-torn galaxy. Sith Empires. Throughout galactic history, particularly in Legends, regimes ruled by the Sith have repeatedly emerged, all driven by the dark side and a core ideology of power through passion and conflict. The first arose around 6,900 BBY when exiled Dark Jedi subjugated the Sith species on Korriban, led by figures like Ajunta Pol and later Dark Lords like Naga Sadow, who waged the Great Hyperspace War. Millennia later, Exar Kun forged his own brief but devastating Sith Empire. Then came Emperor Vitiate's true Sith Empire, meticulously rebuilt in the unknown regions, which launched the Great Galactic War. Even Lord Khan's Brotherhood of Darkness during the New Sith Wars aimed for Sith Imperial rule, albeit with a flawed ideology of equality. These ancient empires, typically autocratic theocracies with a Sith Lord or Dark Council at their head, prioritized military conquest and dark side sorcery, constantly warring with the Republic and Jedi, and plagued by internal treachery inherent in their might makes right philosophy. So, from the millennia-spanning democratic ideals and eventual decay of the Galactic Republic, to the iron-fisted autocratic terror of Palpatine's Galactic Empire, from the corporate-backed, Sith-manipulated rebellion of the Confederacy of Independent Systems, to the hopeful but tragically vulnerable New Republic and its fanatical successor, the First Order, and including the unique, self-contained aristocratic oligarchy of the Chiss Ascendancy, the profit-driven corporatocracy of the corporate sector authority, the ancient criminal empire of the Hutt Cartel, the honor-bound warrior clans of Mandalorian society, the pragmatic reformed federalism of the Legends Galactic Alliance, and the recurring dark theocracies of various Sith Empires. The Star Wars galaxy presents a breathtaking spectrum of governance, each system, with its unique ideologies, structures, and historical trajectories, has profoundly shaped the fate of countless worlds and trillions of lives. The enduring narrative is one of constant political flux, a perpetual struggle between freedom and tyranny, order and chaos, idealism and the corrupting allure of power. Which of these galactic government types do you find the most fascinating or perhaps the most terrifying, and why? What lessons, if any, do their histories offer? Share your political insights in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the corridors of galactic power, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more Star Wars lore explained.